and welcome back to Healing Gems. Thanks for joining me again today. So it's January 2025, so a new start to the year. So if you're struggling with chronic fatigue, then a new year, we start to think about making changes, maybe new routines, new regimes that we can put into place to really help heal our body on this journey and upward trajectory towards health. So, how do we measure when we are feeling better? Or how do we start to know that what we are doing is working? Because obviously chronic fatigue is like this. There's not an upward trajectory. It is very non-linear, the healing. So sometimes it can be very difficult to know what we're doing, if what we're doing is working. Plus, depending on where you are in your journey, changes can be so small that you don't notice because you're living with yourself every day. Like, this is very much similar to someone who goes on a diet and they are losing weight, but because they see themselves every day, they can't see it in themselves. But if someone else hasn't seen them for say like 2 or 3 months and they've lost 2 or 3 stone, you can see the complete difference, but that person can't. So that's like a bit of an analogy of how I see chronic fatigue healing. We can't always see the changes that are happening. So ways that we can measure is looking at the intensity of the symptoms. How intense are the symptoms? How intense is the fatigue? Does the fatigue knock you for six where all you can do is lie down, close your eyes and block out the world for whether that be days, hours, minutes, etc. So the intensity, look at that. If your intensity of symptoms is reducing, then that is a really good sign that you are starting to feel better and heal your body. So intensity, we look at the frequency of the symptoms. With chronic fatigue, we can get an abundance of symptoms. Not just fatigue, it can be pain, it can be digestive issues, it can be brain fog. I can't name all of the symptoms that I've had with chronic fatigue over the years. Things like weird feelings in your eyes, aches and pains that just come out of nowhere, feelings that your limbs are disconnected somehow from your body. All of these are symptoms of chronic fatigue. So if the frequency of these is maybe getting less, so maybe you have experienced it continuously and now you're experiencing it on and off through the day, or maybe you're experiencing it every few days, then that is another great sign that you are healing from chronic fatigue. And lastly, the duration of the symptoms. This is another key indicator of if you are healing or not. So, how long is it lasting? Is it, not going away? For example, like, I was getting pains in my leg and it was constant 24/7, and then it slowly started to ease off in maybe in the intensity of how painful it was, but then it would start to go off and come back on again. So that was another sign of the duration of how long it is lasting. And also the duration can be like if we are experiencing a crash, for example. The crash can be a day, it could be an hour, it could be a few weeks, it could be a few months. So the duration of how long the symptoms are lasting is another key indicator. If it's getting less and less and less, then you are on the right path. But do not forget that chronic fatigue, we don't heal like this. It's not like that. So you might have a day where you feel quite okay, and then the next day you're not going to. And then what we want to avoid is this kind of like booming and busting and spiking. But that is how we heal. It is like this. It's more of like a subtle curve, and there's lots that we can do to prevent this big, changes in feeling good, feeling bad, feeling good, feeling bad, because that's what we want to avoid. So I hope this has helped you be able to see that what you are doing what you are doing is working in one way or another, and all is not lost. I know sometimes we can really feel like nothing is changing, we are completely and utterly stuck, there's no way out of this, and we're going to be stuck with these symptoms forever. But there are many little wins that we experience along the way. And what I would also encourage you to do is, when you experience a little change or you notice a little win, celebrate it. You can tell yourself, look, yesterday I was able to do X, Y, and Z, and the symptom was much lower, or the symptom was non-existent, or I didn't have fatigue for 5 minutes yesterday, while in between doing whatever you were doing. And that 5 minutes is proof. It is absolute proof that you are healing. It's absolute proof that you are getting better and you are on this upward trajectory towards health. And I know you're probably thinking, well, 5 minutes is nothing, is it? But 5 minutes leads to 10 minutes, 10 minutes leads to 15 minutes, and so on, until you are regaining your health to a point where you are able to function better, where you are able to do things you love, where you are, maybe fully cured or fully healed. So there is always hope. So don't forget, just keep checking in, looking at the frequency, the intensity, and the duration of your symptoms, and any little wins, celebrate them. Okay, hope that helped. Give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please ask a question below if you have any, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.